Hello everyone, welcome back to the Cozy Soul and Knitting Podcast. I'm Saoirse, and in this knitting podcast we obviously talk all about knitting, what I've been knitting on recently, what I finished, what's still on my needles, and acquisitions and what I'm gonna be casting on next. So if that sounds interesting to you, then let's go ahead and kind of dive in. I'm waiting for my dog to kind of settle down. I can hear her like click-clacking around with her nails on the floor. Okay, so let's see. It is February 21st today that I'm filming. I'm not sure when this video will go up, but I do have a little bit of a life update for you. I am talking a lot more about this in my vlogs that will be coming your way soon. But I do have a little bit of an update for you. It may look like I am filming in the same location, but I'm actually not. I've actually moved, and you might be able to kind of tell it's been chaotic based on the fact that there's like random things in this shelf and my yarn is not at all organized, so apologies for that. Please don't let it distract you, though it probably is gonna be a bit distracting. My yarn is just all over the place, and that's okay because I just moved. So that's the big update, is that I have moved, and I won't get into all of the different reasons why, but I have moved back in with my family, and I am currently living in the basement of my childhood home, and it's actually been really great, to be completely honest. There's been some adjustments, of course, going from living by myself to living back with my family, but overall it's been a really good change. I'm really happy that I made that decision, and things are still chaos here, and I have a lot of things going on, but it's all for the best. But yeah, I'm in this little corner. There's a dresser literally right here. I'm probably gonna hit my hand on a bunch of times. We're kind of wedged into the corner here, but it's all good because I have my yarn and I've been knitting, and I'm finally able to film a knitting podcast. It's been a while since my last one. I don't even remember which episode this is. Is it 16 maybe? I don't know. It's been a really long time. I think it's been like 2 months, give or take, since I last filmed. And of course, as you could probably put, you know, 2 and 2 together, it's because I've been moving. I've been in the process of moving, and I just haven't had a chance to sit down and film. But of course, I have been knitting. So we're gonna be talking about my knitting. Another thing that has been keeping me from editing videos and filming videos is I had a test knit that I was working on, which we'll talk about in a minute, and that one was just a pattern that was taking all of my extra time between moving and trying to meet that deadline. I had no more time to film anything or to or obviously haven't even had time to organize my yarn cabinet. So yeah, there's just been a lot going on. So if you're curious to hear more about that, see more about that, there should be a vlog coming your way. I'm kind of on the fence on whether or not I want to post it, just because I've been in a weird chaotic energy, and I'm like, do I really want to put that out? So I'm gonna see how I feel when I edit it, but if not, there will still be more vlogs. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into what I'm currently wearing, which is my first finished object. I did take pictures, and when I say I took pictures, I mean I recorded myself posing in front of the camera to try to take stills so that I can use them as pictures, because I cannot figure out how to take selfies of myself without like holding the camera. So, and that's obviously not gonna work. So, but I'll pop in maybe some pictures of me wearing it, because I don't know, I mean, maybe I can stand up and show you guys, but I don't think I'm too close to the camera, I think. But you can see the cables, they're very nice. So this is the Freya sweater, and this is a pattern by Johanna, who is also known as Yarn Me Up on Instagram. I will have her website linked down below, as well as her Instagram and the Ravelry page for this. This has been released. I did not meet the deadline. I was a few days behind. I literally just sewed in the zipper yesterday. So apologies for that, but again, it's been chaos here lately. But yes, this is a beautiful pattern. It is, again, the Freya sweater. I don't know if I said that right. I don't know if I said that, but it is the Freya sweater. It is a very, very new to me construction. I feel like there was not one thing about this pattern that I felt like every step of this pattern was something that I hadn't done before, and so I feel like I learned so much from this pattern. I feel like I really upped my experience level with this pattern, if that makes sense, and I'm just still kind of shocked that I knit this, if that makes sense. Like, it's such a beautiful pattern, it's so intricate, and knowing that like I made it, I feel very talented. But also this is a very amazing pattern, and I'm very excited to knit more of her patterns. And I don't know, I feel like I haven't seen anything like this. I don't know what these cables are called. I think they're, I mean, they look like chains, so I don't know if they're just like a chain cable, if that's what they're called. But it was a super interesting cable because when you're doing it, you're doing like both directions at the same time, if that makes sense. So it's kind of cool because it's like, it's harder than doing, I feel like, a regular cable where it's just like you're either doing one way or the other. But it's also easier in a sense because you don't have to remember like, oh, do I do it this way this time or this way this time? Like, you are doing this, it's the same cable every single time, you're doing the same steps. So it's kind of nice in that regard. So it's very easy in that sense. But then in other ways, this pattern tested me. Again, I felt like I learned so much. It's really well written out. I feel like she gives a lot of details, and testing for her was really fun, and I felt like she was holding her hands the entire way, like all the way through the pattern design or the pattern testing. And you know, anytime she got feedback on the pattern, she immediately like went and updated it and sent it out to us. And so like, yeah, I was very impressed. Yeah, impressed is the word I want to use. Impressed by how she ran her test knit. I highly recommend test knitting for her if you have ever wanted to. I wish that there had been a slightly longer time frame for this. I think we got 2 months, so 8 weeks. I wish it had been like a 10 or 12 week test. At least I think it was 8 weeks. I could be wrong. Again, time has been crazy because of me moving and everything, so maybe it could have been longer than that. And maybe I think that could be another thing too, is just, sorry, my hair is bugging me right now and I can't tell with my nails if I'm like getting all of it, if that makes sense. Okay. But yeah, it might have been a little longer than 8 weeks, but I still kind of wish it had been more 10 weeks, 12 weeks, just because of the complicated nature of the pattern, along with the cable knitting. So yeah, but that's like the only thing. So everything else about this I really, really enjoyed. The yarn that I used for this was the yarn that she had made her samples out of, which was Knit Loop's Sweet Alpaca. This is the colorway, I don't know if I can say it properly because I'm not sure what the word is supposed, like, I think it's a word in a different language that I'm not, it could be German, because I think Knit Loops is a German brand, so I'm not sure, but it's like B-E-E-R-E, so I don't know what that would translate to in English. I could look it up, but I'm not going to. Anyways, maybe I will at some point, but anyways, but this yarn, I guess, yeah, the brand Knit Loops is no longer making yarn. They're out of business now. And obviously I think if she had known that that was going to happen, she would not have chosen that yarn. But it was interesting because I wasn't sure if I wasn't playing yarn chicken, but I wasn't sure how much I would have left, and I ended up only having this much pretty much left. I have two little tiny balls left when I was doing the sleeves, because the sleeves took almost a full skein of yarn each. So I have like a little bit left over, so it's hard to kind of gauge, and I think I could have definitely lengthened both the sleeves and the body, but I didn't because I was running out of time and I wasn't sure how much the sweater was going to grow. This is a zipper sweater. I will zip it up for you, but this type of construction always, I don't know. Next time I think that I make something like this, I need to modify because it's too tall for me personally. It's kind of nice because like, I feel like it gives you a bit of a like, but it kind of, I don't know. I feel like it hides your double chin. So it gives you a double chin, but it hides it, if that makes sense. So like I could wear it like this if I was cold, but I feel like it looks a little silly because it's kind of like, so I personally don't think I can really wear it like this. If I'm really cold, like I could kind of snuggle up in it and that would be great, but for the most part I'm going to be wearing it like this with the collar folded over like this, just because that's how I don't have a long enough neck to wear it the other way, I feel like personally. But that's a me thing, that's not a design thing. And then what else to say about it? It's just an all over cable, and the cable goes like I think it goes all the way up. Yeah, it goes all the way up to here, but obviously there's ribbing on the inside here. So yeah, but it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I would definitely recommend checking out. There's so many beautiful other colorways that the other testers use. There's like a cream version of this. I forget who made that one, but it's beautiful. And then Johanna actually did, I think she did like 3 samples. She had one in this color, one in like a green, maybe like an olivey green, and then another in black that looked stunning. So I would definitely recommend checking out the other versions of this and just seeing all the beautiful different colors. But if you are interested in knitting this, the pattern is out, and I feel like that's all I need to say about it. Again, I would say like this is a pattern for if you're feeling adventurous, unless you're like already super duper experienced and you've knit a ton of like zippered things before. The zipper, putting in the zipper, I've done that before on my Lanark and it was way easier than I thought it would be. It's not my favorite thing to do, but it's easier than I think it's gonna be. And other than that, I think this section is always the hardest, like getting, you know, the collar and the shaping around this area, like those are always gonna be the hard things, and then once you get past that, it's just like you're just knitting. And obviously in the cable pattern, so but this section up here is what kind of makes it like harder, but not too hard. And again, I think the pattern does a really good job of like walking you through it, so I would definitely recommend this pattern, but if you're in like an adventurous mood, unless you're already kind of used to knitting this type of garment, if that makes sense. But anyways, overall, I would definitely recommend this pattern. And I think, you know, if you're a beginner, you can still make this pattern. I think the pattern gives you enough information to walk you through things. I mean, if you've never knit a sweater before, then no, this is probably not the one to start with. But if you're, you know, you've knit a few garments and you want, you know, because I haven't knit that many garments, right? Like however many I knit last year, I think it was like 11 or so. So, you know, I'm not like super duper experienced, but I've knit a few garments. But I would say this is definitely, I think to date, I would say that this was the most complicated one that I've knit, because while it is very similar to the Lanark in terms of how it looks, like with the zipper and everything, I would say the construction was very different. I would say the construction was still pretty different. I think it just works up in a completely different way than the Lanark or than other zipper sweaters. So I think it's a really cool way to learn new techniques and just to do something a little bit different, but I also wouldn't, I guess what I'm saying is like if you are a little bit more on the beginner side, I wouldn't let that dissuade you from knitting it if you really want to. Anyways, I think, yeah, I talked about the yarn, I talked about the construction a bit. I didn't go into detail because I don't want to give away too much of the pattern, and there's so many different, like, different parts to it, so I wouldn't even really know which to focus on, but overall I really like it. I think it fits well. One thing I think is a bit weird on mine, and I don't know, is just that I think the sleeves are very fitted. Well, no, they're not that fitted, but they're more fitted than I feel like the body is, and I don't know if that's something that I love on myself. But I still need to, I've only had this zipper sewn in for a day. I need to like wear this. I need to see what I want to wear it with, how I want to style it, all of that. But I don't know, because the sleeves aren't fitted. I wouldn't describe them as fitted, but I think maybe it's also because I made them a little too short. They are like bracelet length, but they also kind of ride up depending on how I'm moving my arms. And then the other thing that I did that I didn't like, and this was totally on me, it was not the pattern at all. I chose the wrong bind off, so I don't know if you can kind of tell, like, can't, I'm too short to show you, but just, I guess, take my word for it. The bind off that I did kind of flares out ever so slightly, and I don't think it's a deal breaker for this garment. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to go back and fix it, but I do wish I had chose a different bind off. I did it's a Very Pink Knits bind off, or at least that's the tutorial that I followed, and it's like the super simple stretchy bind off or something like that. I did the Italian bind off on the sleeves, and I didn't love, I thought it was a little too tight, which, you know, like one sleeve is looser than the other and the other is like tighter, and I did this one and I was like, oh, it's a little too tight, and I didn't want to do that on the body, especially because I was already late getting the sweater done for the test deadline. So I did not want to do the Italian bind off because that takes me forever. So I didn't. I picked a different one. I'll leave it linked down below. It was actually one that one of you had recommended to me, but when I went and watched the video, I was like, oh, I've already done this, but I can't remember what I've done it on, but I know that I've done this before. So I went ahead and I tried it for this because I thought, hey, at least I'll be done because it's gonna be quick and easy. But then it did. And I knew it was gonna have a little bit of a flare to it because it's just the nature of that bind off, but I don't know. I kind of wish that I hadn't done it, but I also didn't want it to be too cinched in with the Italian bind off that can sometimes happen if it's a little too tight. So sorry, I feel like I'm stumbling over my words, but all in all, I think the sweater turned out beautifully. The only thing that I would change about it is maybe lengthen the sleeves just a little bit more, and then I would also maybe redo the bind off just a little bit. But anyways, that is my first finished object. This is my first finished object of 2024, and it only took me almost 2 months to finish it. I think almost 2 months. Yeah, it was 2 months. It was over 2 months, I think, to finish it. And then I actually have 2 finished objects to talk about that I finished way before. I finished these before Christmas. One of them I actually finished on Christmas Day, and this is how long I haven't podcasted because I haven't shown these to you yet. So one of them I actually don't have. The other one I snagged just before I sat down to film, so I could show you. But the first one to talk about, I tried to find it because, again, like I said, I moved back in with my parents, and these are both gift knits that I did for my parents for Christmas. So I was like, oh, perfect, they're here in the house, I'll just grab them. But I think my mom, because my parents are, they left and are out and about right now, I think my mom took her hat. So I will take pictures of it when she's back, and when I go and edit this, I will insert some pictures of the Cheslie toque that I made for my mom because I did finish it. I don't think it was finished when I filmed my last podcast. If it was, apologies, but I'm pretty sure that it wasn't. I knit it out of Lion Brand Vanna's Choice in the color Sage. I would 100% not recommend that yarn for that hat, and I actually wouldn't recommend that yarn ever. It is 100% acrylic, which isn't necessarily, like, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad yarn, right? Like, I don't want to be too much of a yarn snob. I don't like acrylic, I will just say that, and I try to stay away from it. I don't like how it feels. I don't like how it feels when you're knitting it. I don't usually like the finished objects, but you know, sometimes, you know, sometimes you want to use acrylic, right? So I definitely think it has its time and its place, but for that hat specifically, I would not recommend that yarn because there is no drape. It has no drape whatsoever, and I think that a pattern like the Cheslie Toque, I just personally feel like it should have a little bit of drape at least. And when my mom wears it, sometimes it kind of like gets this weird, because it doesn't drape, it just gets this weird, it looks like she's put like a ball of yarn inside it and it's just kind of like going like this on her head. I don't know if I can describe it better than that. Maybe I will try and like take a picture and show you what I mean by that. She doesn't mind it. She's like, she loves it and she was getting compliments on it, so it's not a big deal, I guess, but I personally would hate it. So that is that finished object, and I'm gonna go change the battery on this camera and then we'll talk about my my third finished object. Alright, I think we're at a slightly different angle. So sorry if things don't look straight. I promise you the shelf is straight. I'm sitting straight, but the camera might be a little off, so apologies. I ended up doing a last minute gift knit for my dad for Christmas, and I think in my last podcast I said like I'm not doing it, I'm not gonna do it, my hands were hurting, but I finished my mom's hat quicker than I anticipated, and then I decided I would go ahead and knit something for my dad because I was like, I just feel like I don't have enough presents for him, and you know, I don't need to add another one, but like I had time. So I think it was like 3 days before Christmas I decided to cast on the Purl Soho classic ribbed hat. And again, this is in the same brand yarn, same line brand, Vanna's Choice, in the shade, what is this called? I think it's Midnight Blue was the colorway. So I made the largest size, I believe. I don't know if I should really put this on. Yeah. Oh, so it kind of does, my mom's hat kind of does the same thing. Again, there's no drape. This like fits my dad's head, like he, you know, pulls it down obviously more, and it doesn't do this, but this is what my mom's hat does. It kind of like goes in here and then kind of like poofs up here. So I personally wouldn't recommend this yarn for that other hat pattern. This one's fine though, like I'll show you because I have mine. Mine is same yarn, just a different colorway, and mine doesn't do that when I put it on. So this is more like what it looks like when my dad wears this hat, but obviously it's just a little too big on me because I made the bigger size. But anyways, so yeah, so I literally had to finish up the decreases on Christmas morning because I thought I had enough time, and then Christmas Eve night, like I'm just like going, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am so tired, I can't, like I'm just gonna have to wake up early then on Christmas morning and finish it. And I did, and that was great, and I was able to gift it to him. This has never been blocked, which is probably another reason it was kind of making a weird thing. But my dad, it doesn't look like that when he wears it, and I don't think he really cares, so I just didn't block it. I did block my mom's hat. It didn't seem to help any, but there's that. So I need to remember to put this back where I found it, because otherwise my dad's gonna be like, where did my hat go? And I'm gonna be like, I have no idea. And then I'll be like, oh right, I stole it for the podcast. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on to whips. So I've been a very monogamous knitter lately with this sweater because I was test knitting it and I was running out of time. I haven't been able to work on a ton of other things. So I only have 3 whips, but they're all, I feel like, not very far along. So, if you watched my last vlog, you will have seen this already, but I did cast on, I'm getting like I'm getting that thing where I'm like, I can't remember if I've already, like, I'm like, oh, am I sure that I haven't done a podcast since Christmas? Because I feel like I've talked about this yarn already, but it's because I did it in the vlog, I'm pretty sure. So I have a sock going, and I did, in my last podcast, I was asking, I think, for whether or not I should, got yarn stuck in my lip gloss. I was asking in my last podcast, like, basically to have you guys help me choose between 2 sock yarns that I was going to use. But then on Christmas Day I was working on this, but it was like, you know, people were here and I'm trying to spend time with my family, and I'm like, oh, I can't do these cables while trying to chat with people, so I was like, I need something else to cast on, and I got this yarn for Christmas. So this yarn, it is the Wisdom Yarns Wacki Saki sock. It's 50% merino superwash and 25% bamboo and 25% nylon, and it is a self-patterning, it's a self-patterning, as you can see, sock yarn. So I got this for Christmas, and because it's already, you know, kind of ready to go, it's not a hank that I have to wind up, I decided I would just go ahead and cast that on right away on Christmas, so I had something to do. And this is about as far as I have gotten. I have a few more rounds, I think, to do before starting the heel flap. So yeah, that's the only progress that I've made since Christmas. Is we've not even finished the leg of the first sock, but I will get back to my sock knitting eventually. I just have, again, I've been focusing on this guy, and then I had another cast on, so we'll make more progress on that sock, but I figured I would show it to you. Next whip is a tee. I'm trying to get a little bit of a head start on my spring and summer knitting, I guess, but this was just a cast on that I had seen, oh shoot, I can't remember the podcaster who I saw had knit this in their, like, what I made in 2023 video, so I will have to, I wanna, ooh, is it, I think it might be Stitched by Freya, but I will leave her channel link down below because I was watching her what I made in 2023, or what I knit in 2023 video, and she talked about the Uptown Tee by Tori Yu, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks like so much fun to knit, and also it doesn't look like it takes that much yarn. And I looked at like the yardage and stuff required, and I was like, oh, I definitely have enough yarn where I could knit that. So I just knit it from stash. So it's kind of hard to see because it's on a teeny tiny cable needle. I'm so sorry. I really should have put it on like try-on cord. So it looks like nothing right now. I'm so sorry. My dog is barking. I hope this does not bother you that you can't see it. And there's also a lifeline in here as well, because I already had to rip this out once because I messed up on the lace sleeves. And again, like, I'm so sorry you can't see this better. But there's like a lace pattern going on, and I did mess up again, but I feel like it's not as noticeable. So, and I don't know what I did this time. The first time I ripped it back because I knew exactly what I had done wrong. This time I have no clue what I did wrong, so I'm just not gonna go back and fix it because I don't think it's super noticeable. It might even block out and just not be that noticeable. I think it'll be fine. And it was only on the one side, whereas the last time I was knitting this, I messed up on both sides, and yeah, but this one, I don't know, this one I just like messed up. I might have, actually no, maybe I did mess up on both sides. I'm thinking maybe I did a knit round, like a whole round of knitting only without doing the lace pattern or the increases when I wasn't supposed to. That could be what I did wrong. But honestly, I have the lifeline so I could go back and pick it up, but I just don't want to. I don't want to rip back again like I already had to. And I don't think it's that noticeable, so I probably won't. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. I feel like if I am too much of a perfectionist, this will never get done. But anyways, so I'm working on this. Again, it looks like nothing right now because it's on a really small cord, but I'm knitting this in Knit Picks Muse? Yes, Muse fingering, and I believe the colorway for this is Poetic. Yeah, so this was already in my stash, so that feels really good to like, I had no idea what I was going to use it for, and I found a fun pattern to use it for. So I'm very excited for that, and we'll get started. I'm already getting started on my spring and summer knitting, which is great. So okay, sorry if I'm like speeding through, but yeah, that, if you couldn't tell, it has like lace sleeves, but everything else is just like your basic raglan stockinette tee. My next pattern, or my next cast on, new cast on that I have, oh my gosh, I've not gotten very far on at all, because I literally just casted it on like 2 days ago, haven't really been working on it a ton. But I'm going to be knitting my first colorwork sweater. I'm very excited. My plan for right now is just to get started on it, but I need to take my nails off before I do the colorwork because I can knit with these long nails. I got them done for a special occasion. I won't go into it, but it's time for them to come off. They're already kind of lifting around the like cuticle area, and yeah, and I've had them on for over 2 weeks now, or yeah, I think actually it'll be 2 weeks today, and yeah, it's time for them to come off. I think I'm getting to the point where I can't take it anymore, like on a sensory level. I'm getting annoyed by them, so they're gonna come off, and I just feel like that'll speed up my knitting quite a bit, and I don't want to try to do the color work while these are still on, so I'm hopefully gonna take these off like maybe tomorrow, and by that point maybe I'll be at a place where I can start the color work, but we're not there yet. So I am knitting the Lumme Pullover by Nordlund, and this is how much I have so far. So I literally just have the collar, and it's not even, I don't know, I still have many more rows to go of the 1x1 rib for the collar of the sweater. So I'm really excited. I got this from Joann's. I'm using Lion Brand Fisherman's wool. This is just the natural shade. And I'm really excited because that is kind of a goal for me for the next year or so, is to really, well, I want to focus on my stash. I did not have anything in my stash that I could use for this colorwork sweater. And I really just like was just itching to cast on a colorwork sweater. So I chose the Lumme Pullover. I have other colorwork sweaters that I want to knit, but I didn't know what yarn I wanted to use, and this one I realized I could use this yarn combination. I got really excited about this yarn combination because it's kind of like a nice budget yarn. Like I think all in all I paid for 3 skeins of this and then 2 skeins of the contrast color plus the zipper for this Freya sweater. I paid like less than $55 for all of those. So I'm really excited about budget yarns, like just good wool yarns that I can get for cheap. And obviously like Drops is one that you can get pretty inexpensive. Knit Picks is pretty inexpensive. But I kind of wanted to just try out some other things, and I had seen some people talk about Fisherman's wool before from Lion Brand, and I also have seen, I think I saw a couple of Ravelry projects for the Lumme Pullover where they used this yarn, so I was like, perfect, like let me try it out. And so far I really like it. I don't know, it feels really nice. It's like soft but still feels woolly, which is really nice. And I don't know if it's like, it's not like merino level soft obviously, but it is like, it's still got a nice softness to it, but with a little, I wouldn't say it's rustic, but it's like, it's got a little bit of that kind of rustic wool feel to it. And yeah, so I'm really excited for my Lumme Pullover, and I'll just show you. We are transitioning into acquisitions. Oh yeah, and then I still have the receipt here. Let me just, yeah, it was $57 50 cents, I'll round up to $58, and that's plus obviously like sales tax, or maybe that's not obvious because not everywhere has sales tax, but I live in Washington State, which has sales tax, so the zipper was $3, the Fisherman's wool is like $14, but it was also on sale. Oh, I didn't know it was on sale. Oh, that's cool. I got it on 25% off at Joann's. So I didn't know that was on sale. So yeah, I got all of the, so like without tax it was like $52-ish, $53 to round up, for all of this yarn plus the zipper. The zipper was $3, so like it was less than $50 for this yarn, because I got 25% off on this, which I didn't know, but that's cool. So I got 3 of, hold on. I got 3 of these guys, because these are, I don't know how many, oh, that's 227 grams for these, so that's a lot of yarn. For my contrast color, I got Patons Classic Wool Worsted, and this is in the shade, the colorway Meadow. And I've never used this yarn before, but it feels really nice. I've seen people use it, so I kind of already figured it would work out well. But it's really, really nice, 100% wool. And I got 2 of these for the contrast. And I think I saw someone on Ravelry use this exact, or maybe not the same color, but they used this combo of yarn for the Lumme, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure I will have some color work to show you in the next podcast. So I'm very excited. But these nails, they have to come off first for sure, before I get into my, you know, double, like doing throwing and continental. So that leaves us to the rest of my acquisitions, which I bought a very long time ago, and they came in a while ago, like around Christmas time, but I haven't been able to show them on the podcast yet, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'm sorry for the plastic wrap sound, but I just had to show you and then I'll take them out. But my order from the Explorer Knits Spain collection came in, I think around the end of December, so I haven't had a chance to show you it yet. So the first set, I'm holding them upside down, but I have the Earthy DK in the saffron colorway. Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. Like, hi, what the heck? The plan was to make the stick season out of this. I think that's what I still want to do. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm very excited. I think this yarn will go really well with the stick design on the stick season, and I will be listening to Noah Khan or Noah Kane, however you say. I feel like I still have no idea how to say his last name because I feel like everyone says it differently. But we'll be listening to the Stick Season album while I knit on my Stick Season. Very excited. I feel like everyone else has already been doing that, and it's finally gonna be my turn to do that soon. And that just makes me wish that there was a Sleep Token inspired sweater that I can knit while listening to Sleep Token. So if someone could get on that, that would be wonderful. Very different genres, but whatever. So I don't know where to put these. I guess I'll just put them on the ground. I just had a lot of inspiration. Okay, so I have 4 of these Olive Grove skeins of the Earthy DK. Okay, got 4 of these. We love an olive green, obviously. I mean, really, who doesn't? I know that there's people who don't, but I think we can all agree an olive green is a beautiful color. Okay, I also got 4 skeins of the Olive Grove Boucle DK. Okay, does anyone see where I'm going with this yet? Maybe, maybe. And then, I also got 3 skeins of the Sari alpaca lace of Olive Grove. Okay, okay. Do we maybe see where this is going? Maybe, maybe. I am making a bouclette. I'm making the Leith cardigan, but instead of it being different stripes color-wise, it's gonna be stripes of the boucle and then stripes of the earthy DK with the Sari. I think that's how, yeah, because the boucle will be like one of the stripes, and then the Sari and this will be the other stripe. Am I right? Am I right? Isn't that gonna be amazing? Right. Okay. And then, by the way, I bought all this stuff back when I still had a job. So, if anybody's like, what are you doing? I had a job when I bought this. I thought I had a stable income when I bought this. So I also, because, oh my gosh, I couldn't not. I got the earthy sock in the colorway Gaudy. I think that's how you pronounce it. I got 3 of them. Not sure what I'm gonna make with these. I was thinking some sort of tea, but I love this color. I love these colors so much, and this collection, I mean, I know it's like, you know, they're on to the next thing already, but I just don't think I've ever seen a yarn, you know, a hand-dyed yarn collection pop off quite this much, you know what I mean? Like, I think the Spain collection is probably the hand-dyed yarn collection that I will forever kind of think about and compare other collections to, because they were just, I feel like every single color in that collection was one that I was like, ooh, I love this, like I love that color. And I don't know, I'm really into jewel tones, so I think that this had some kind of like the saturation of these colors was really nice that I really liked. And I wouldn't say like this isn't a jewel tone. I don't think any of these were really jewel tones, but like these all had like a really nice level of like saturation to them, and so I just really love this collection, and grateful that I was able to snag some of this yarn. And that kind of concludes the acquisition section. That sock yarn that I'm knitting a sock with was an acquisition that I got. And I also got some knitting books for Christmas, but I don't know if I want to go through them right now, because, you know, I can only show you like so much of them. I did get a colorwork sock knitting book. I got the Knitting for Olive book. There was also a Lord of the Rings one as well. So a lot of knitting patterns to make things out of later on. But yeah, they're not packed. They're in a bookcase, they're over there. I can even see them right now, but I just don't really feel like trying to, because I kind of blocked myself in, and I need to clean up in order to get out of my little yarn corner over here, so I'm gonna have to do that. But that kind of concludes this podcast, I think. I don't think I have anything else to say. If you want to keep up with me more, especially during this crazy time in my life, you can watch my vlogs. I'm going to continue to do them. Again, there's that one that may or may not be coming your way. I'm still not sure if I want to actually edit and post it, because I'm kind of like, I don't know. I feel it was like 2 weeks ago, and I feel like I'm like already on to the next thing, you know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm going to post that, but in any case, I will keep you guys updated. And if you want to know a little bit more about like what's going on in my life, I will talk about it more in the vlogs. I think that's it. I think that's everything. We talked about finished objects, whips, acquisitions, a little bit about future plans. I don't know when I'll cast on the Leith or the 6 season sweater, because I also have so many other things but that is kind of a goal for me this next year, is to really work on my stash, work on using, you know, what I already have, and when I do come to, you know, a pattern where I don't have stuff in my stash to use but I want to knit it, to go and get some more budgety type yarns, like not super cheap yarns, but just yarns that are a little bit more wallet friendly. I really want to just have some staples that I know I can rely on, that won't break the bank, especially while I'm not working and not like bringing in money right now. So I want to focus on my stash, and I want to focus on finding and using and maybe kind of reviewing budget yarns and all of that. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry if this was chaotic. It's been a while since I filmed, so bound to be a little chaotic as I get used to filming podcasts again. But thank you so much for sticking with me. Please let me know what you're working on, and if you were knitting something while watching, I'd love to know what you were working on. Let me know if you guys got anything from the spring collection, even though I know it was like a while ago, but let me know if you did pick anything up from that. Let me know if you're gonna knit the Freya sweater. Let me know if you've already knit like the Lumme pullover or the Uptown Tee. I would love to hear what yarns you use and all of that. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and if you want to see, I knew I was gonna hit that. If you want to see more from me, or knitting vlogs or anything like that, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. And yeah, other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Happy knitting, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Alright, this is a song that I wrote about falling too fast, but I wouldn't know anything about that.
I don't wanna lose my grounding, so you catch me not responding, and I press my lips together so you don't find any answer.